This is John and James love. Turn it up, feel the rise from the top to the night. We're a spark, we're the light. John and James love. Lock it in, don't think twice. Every laugh, turn it up. It's your time.
Hello and welcome to John and James Live. My name is John Hastings. I'm with my co-host, Mr. James Celo, and special guest, the head of HYROX Academy. It is Ralf Iwan. How are you today, Ralf? You okay?
Yes, thanks very much for the invitation. I'm very well, thank you. And I feel even better after this intro with this nice music. I always started, to groove here. It's like
got that HYROX vibe, isn't it?
Love it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. So, James, you're going to introduce us to the show today. Tell us what we're going to go through, what people can learn, and then we'll go from there. Okay, James?
Absolutely. Perfect. So we've got sort of three sections, three pillars. So the first one, we're going to talk about HYROX Youngstars, which is an incredible element of HYROX. I think that's the first one coming up in the UK in the end of March, which is amazing. We're going to talk about the HYROX series and also the HYROX Academy as well as part of that second pillar. And then to finish off with, we're going to talk about the HYROX Coaches Summit that is happening in Twickenham, the Allianz Stadium, in the end of March. So
all the good stuff.
But
first of all, Ralf, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into the HYROX, what you was doing before, and just a bit of a background on yourself to start off with.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for asking. And Ralf Iwan, 59 years of age, background in terms of sports is athletics. I've done decathlon myself. When I was young, that was in the last century, back then. I started as a coach in athletics. I started to study sports science in Cologne at the university. And at that time, I wasn't really sure whether my career goes into coaching or sport and event management. And so when me and a couple of friends at the university, we had to finance ourselves, our studies. So we organized a couple of decathlon meetings at that time. That was in the early 90s, back then. And so we earned a little bit of money to finance our studies. And apparently, I also had a coaching job at that time. And I was coaching young pole vaulters, juniors. And I had the privilege to have this talent and to develop this talent as a coach up to the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. And so from then, my career path was set into coaching, really. So I've been coaching then in Germany for a couple of years, athletes at Olympic Games, World Championships, European Championships, Commonwealth Games. And then my career brought me to the UK, to sunny Manchester. I worked for 3 years for UK Athletics as a regional performance manager in the early 2000s. And at that time, for those who are familiar with Manchester, the Eastlands and the stadium there was just refurbished for the Commonwealth Games, and Manchester City was about to move in. And, that was my place where I worked with. And I had to develop the overall performance structure of the northwest of England in terms of athletics. So that was my role. Living in sunny Glossop was a fantastic time with my wife and my two children. Back then, they were like 4 and 6. Today, they're obviously grown-ups. And from the rainy northwest of England, then we moved to the desert. A little bit more sun, a little bit more dry. We were in Qatar. And a colleague of mine, former colleague, called me at that time and said, Ralf, would you be interested to come to the Middle East? I'm moving here to Qatar, and they have a huge plan to build a sports industry in Qatar. Long-term vision is to host the Football World Cup one day, would you be interested to head the academy as a head coach for athletics? So I moved with the whole family to Qatar. It was a fantastic time to create this academy, athletics academy. For 5 years we've been there. It was a fantastic time for the family as well, for my kids, for my wife. Very international, intercultural environment. And I think for my overall career, I learned a lot from that time. Then had a short stint in a different industry. Worked for 1.5 years as a business development manager for photovoltaic company, a German one, who went to South Africa at the time. And I found this very, very interesting to just have a look outside, sports. The smell of the tartan track, was always, of course, in my nose. And, but sometimes you need to have a change of a perspective to see things from a different point of view.
Sure.
Very, very quickly, I think this is for all professions. You're in a bubble. You're a specialist in yourself. And sometimes it's healthy to step outside and, experience something different than coming back again. So anyways, after 1.5 years, a friend of mine called me in Singapore and said, Ralf, would you be interested to come to Singapore? We're looking here for a head coach who's leading our team, our track and field academy. Singapore Sports School, for background, is a sports school with 10 sports, 450 students, all between 14 and 20 years of age. Me and my wife and the family, we always wanted to experience Asia. So we moved to Singapore for 2 years. I've been working there with an international team of coaches. And from Singapore back to Germany, again, completely different sport. I always wanted to work not only in an individual sport, but wanted to tap into a team sport, right? Lots of my colleagues said, Ralf, you maybe need to go to football, soccer, working in a club as a performance director. And I said, nah, not really. I was always intrigued by rugby, I have to admit. But in the end, it became the complete opposite side, the non-physical sport of volleyball. So I became the performance director for the German Volleyball Federation. So that's indoor volleyball and beach volleyball. Stayed there for 2 years, have been leading the performance plan for the German volleyball. And in 2016, after Rio Olympics, then I decided I go freelance. I wanted to consult more with organizations on an international scale. So I consulted with the German Olympic Confederation, a couple of projects in Honduras, Zimbabwe, in Lebanon, and some other countries, Kazakhstan, etc. I worked together with World Athletics, and also did a lot of lecturing at universities, which I really liked. I live in Berlin, and I've been lecturing at a lot of private universities with international students. I'm always very interested in different cultures, different backgrounds from all over the world. So I was first traveling the world, working in many countries and many cultures, and then now people came to me to Berlin from various cultures and countries. So I really enjoyed that. And the last part of your question, John, how did I get in contact with HYROX in the first place? It was the summer of 2019. I just came from a long jog and I was enjoying the afternoon on my terrace. And I listened to a podcast with Moritz Förster, one of the co-founders of HYROX. And Moritz, I knew Moritz, of course, as the most successful hockey player, not only in Germany, maybe around the world with multiple Olympic medals. But so Moritz was asked, are you interested in terms of your career when you retire to become the next president of the German Hockey Federation, performance director? And Moritz was saying, no. I've got this new project here and it's called HYROX and it's this new sport. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. So I did a little bit of research. And I think 2 days later, I registered myself for the first HYROX in Berlin. And then, the journey started with HYROX. And I've been leading now the academy. I was obviously then approached by a friend of mine, Ralf Lenz, who asked me, Ralf, would you like to join HYROX with me as a project? to build the HYROX Academy, the coach education department of HYROX, and we started this in 2023. And ever since, I'm working as the head of academy in HYROX. That was quite a long story, isn't it? But I started last century, so apologies.
Wow, that's quite a journey, isn't it, James? My God,
well, yeah, I'm just trying to
jealous.
recover from the fact that you're what, 59? Did you say?
Yes. Yeah.
I think John, you better fact check that, mate. Just make sure that is. I'm not entirely convinced. But Ralph, tell us like a fun fact about you that clearly you are incredibly, well qualified, experienced, and things like that. But somebody looking at you now, something that they wouldn't necessarily know about you just by looking at you or talking to you, like just a throwaway fun fact. Go for it.
Well, I don't know whether it's a fun fact, but I skipped the first part of my professional career, and you won't believe it. People are not scrolling back that far in my LinkedIn CV or whatever the platform is. When I left school, I was so into sports, and I wanted to study sports science coaching immediately. And remember, back then it was 86, 1986. And it was Wimbledon, and Boris Becker was winning, the German tennis player was winning and my father was saying, listen,
really famous.
What do you want to study sport? There's no job opportunities, So why don't you do something with money, stock markets? So he convinced me in the end and said, so I said, okay, I'm doing a bank apprenticeship. So straight from the Adidas tracksuit into the Boss or Armani suit with a tie, wow. Walking into the bank in the morning, 8 o'clock, coming out 5 o'clock, after 18 months. It was a 3-year apprenticeship, right? After 18 months, I knew immediately this is not for life, for sure. But usually what I start, and when I commit to something and I start something, I finish it. So I said, okay, come on. Then you have your first apprenticeship, your job, your profession, so to speak. And so I'm a banker by trade, or how do you say?
Okay, you're the money man.
But obviously never worked. Then later on, a little bit from time to time over the week, so to finance my studies as well, but never worked in. But it did help, obviously, in my personal financial management as well. So
yeah,
yeah. So I swapped again the Boss suit with a tie to Adidas / Puma. Oh, I have to be careful here.
We'll edit that bit out. That's fine.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. Okay.
But Ralph, so I'm relatively new to the.
Oh, he's frozen.
Yeah, John is frozen.
John, that's usually my trick. So what John was going to say is that he's relatively new to the HYROX racing series. Now, I invited John along because, just to clarify, I'm working with Stixits in the UK, and we were at the HYROX in the Excel in December. John came along, didn't know anything about HYROX, had no idea the concept of it. And he came into that arena and he was wide-eyed like a small child at Christmas. So he's coming at it from a perspective of not knowing anything about HYROX. And it was really interesting for me because I could see how he was interacting with this phenomena that is HYROX. He's a personal trainer by trade. He's done other stuff, but had kind of gotten out of doing fitness, and by his own admission had not been to the gym in quite a while, from being very fit to then not being so fit. And walking around that arena, and he was seeing men and women in very good shape. And I could just see in his demeanor, he was like, oh, and he was inspired. He thought, I want to do this. So it was just as a kind of an anecdotal first impression was really interesting from his perspective. So I know he was going to kind of go along those sort of lines before he's dropped out, but I'll keep going, the professionals that we are.
Yeah.
So are you finding that people are coming across HYROX by nature of sort of recommendation, seeing it obviously in social media. And what are you seeing the sort of the initial reaction to it? Are people sort of fascinated? Are they slightly intimidated? What, in your experience, is that kind of first initial reaction to it?
Well, what I gather is people are mostly inspired by these events. You know, I mean, I have a lot of people which I meet at events, being it students, coaches, business partners, and we visit the event, and then I show them around, you know, the starting tunnel, and then obviously the stations, the running, and you know, the close distance, the spectators, so friends, family can go when you do the workouts, basically. And this is something that is it's motivating, it's inspiring, it's inspiring people. Absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest, I've personally have done now 14 HYROX doubles and singles, and just all the time when I'm doing this again, I feel so motivated, full of energy, with all the others, going through the same torture, if I may say so, if I'm thinking about burpee broad jump, which is not my favorite. But you know, but that makes a difference, you know. And people are standing on the side and they're cheering and they're applauding, you know. And I have to say, regardless in which country you're competing. So that makes it such a great event. And I think this is one of the greatest advantages of HYROX compared, let's say, to a running event or to a triathlon, the way you can sign up and show up, but you swim alone. Okay, some fish may applaud you, but then you jump on a bicycle and then you go for a run. Fair enough, there are people there, but your friends, you only see them once when you pass by, you run by, you know. But here, it's this atmosphere was amazing, or is amazing with all this stuff.
Well, when you dropped out, John, I don't know where you went. Obviously, didn't go and make a cup of tea or something. But
sorry, the internet went.
That's okay. It's all right, mate. These things happen. But I was just saying to Ralf how sort of wide-eyed you were when you came along to the XL, and because you'd never experienced anything like it, and you didn't know much at all about HYROX.
Yeah. But what is it, 40, 50,000 people that turned up? I don't know, you know, where it started from, Ralf. I think there was on the first ever HYROX was what, a few hundred, and now it's grown.
674. I didn't count them myself, but this is what we were told by Mo and Christian. A couple of hundreds, correct? Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So Steve, James, you want to read this one out?
Yeah. So from Steve, hi Steve McClory. We're one of the first gyms in the UK to affiliate with HYROX, and it's given so many people a reason to train at very different fitness levels, ages, and abilities. HYROX is the biggest shift in gym training in a very long time. Yeah,
no, I agree with that. I don't know if you know Steve, but he's got an Instagram page called HYROX Workouts with 235,000
phenomenal
members, which is unbelievable, which shows how big it is.
But maybe if I may just add to Steve's comment, absolutely great, the different fitness levels, you know. So what people a lot of times I think underestimate, and when I show new people to HYROX, is these extremely fit people, male, female, you know, when they're racing there, etc. No, it's all fitness level, because we define our sport. First of all, HYROX we define as a sport, but it's a sport for everybody. So everybody in every shape, right? Certainly you have to have a certain fitness level, you know, to finish the circuit. But it doesn't matter whether you do. The average finisher is like 90 minutes at the moment globally, if we compare all the results, right? But we have, of course, finishers who are coming in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, right? But they make it. So all kind of age groups, and this is great. It's a very inclusive sport, right? So it's not for the super fit, where you have to have really technical skills. Let's say if we're looking at CrossFit and other formats, etc., etc. So very, very inclusive. Everybody can join. And I can just share with you, my wife never wanted to do a HYROX with me. She said, "You're crazy. I'm never going to do this." I said, "Honey, let's try Manchester." And we did Manchester. I did all the workouts except the ergs, I have to say. And it was a great experience. And she said, "Yeah, maybe I'm doing another one with you." So
yeah.
Well, it's interesting you mention it because at Excel, I mean, there were so many couples that were coming up that I was talking to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so clearly this is just a test of your relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're stress testing it right now to see if this is going to last. And
Yeah.
they just all kind of look a little bit coy and sort of, giggle a bit. But, it's that whole thing. I mean, the old kind of adage of couples that train together stay together and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean,
is that a saying, James?
I just made that up on the fly.
I think you just made that up.
I butchered it. But yeah, no, it's fascinating. So let's get back to the structure. So we're going to talk about HYROX Youngstars.
Yeah.
So this you can explain, Ralf, what it is, but it's not from what I understand about it, it's not a watered down version of the adult race. This is something that's very specific for kids, that it's been designed incredibly well. The first one was in Amsterdam, if that's right, earlier this year. So that was the very first one. The second one, as I said, is going to be in London. So just give us a bit of the kind of background to HYROX Youngstars, what the intention is, what the format is, how it differs from the adult race series.
Yeah. Maybe, James, we have to go a little bit further back. So correct, the new format was the first event was in Amsterdam. But if we go back to the year 2018, 2017, HYROX Youngstars was always an idea from Moritz Förster, Christian Tötzke, and Mintra Tilly, who originally designed the HYROX workout and the format itself. So also the youngsters. So actually, this was the first version, and then the race picked up so quickly, the events, that the youngsters were left behind a little bit. So obviously you can't develop a format on all levels. So priority was then the main event. Youngsters were always there, but they were always in the draw, the concept. Then we opened the draw again about 2 years ago, when me and Ralf Vens were sitting together with Christian Tötzke, and we thought about how can we integrate a kids and youth friendly format to the audience and to kids, and from which age should we start? And me having worked with, and this is why I was so in detail with my career. So I've been also always working with academies and with young athletes and athletics. So having this experience, we always wanted to come up with, a format that is not the scaled down version of the original event, right? So it has to really cater for this specific age group. And we decided then to have age group starting from under 10 all the way till under 16. Okay, because from the age of 16 you can start originally in a youngsters race at the moment, at least. So there will be potentially new age categories in the future, but let's stick with the youngsters for now. So that was always the idea, not just scaling down, because kids are not small adults. We have to be very, very mindful here. And this is not only true for the event format, but this is also true for the training and the training concepts. Yeah. So anyways, the new format then, we tried something 2 years ago in London. Some things worked, some things could have been improved. So again, back to the laboratory, so to speak, to think about, okay, how can we put it together? And then Jessica Petty came up with a new format, slightly new format, with, for example, the sled push, being now part of the youngsters. So then we agreed all on this new format, which you can see now and which is rolled out now globally. And Jess and her team in Singapore, they did a great job. They've put everything together. They've been setting up this concept of the events itself, because youngsters and if you're dealing with kids in an event format at the same time in a training environment requires a lot of thinking when you consider safeguarding.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's not just copy paste. Okay, we've got these adult race here, bang bang, copy paste. No, it's not. Yeah. So Piers Plowman from the HYROX Academy, he had a really important role in this first event, and Piers is a very experienced PE teacher / coach, and he had a huge say in all the safeguarding processes. We have Kelly Hounslow. It was with a lot of expertise from various sports. She's been drawing from VFA, from other sports, at World Triathlon, etc. So this is really a beast. But in terms of safeguarding, but it is important. Yeah, I'm particularly really happy that we have this program now in place, because I think sport for the next generation and physical activity is super important.
It's hugely important.
Given the challenges of nowadays, and we all read it in the press, of social media and the impact that has on not only on the mental health, but in the long term also on the physical health. Yeah. We're talking about nutrition and eating habits, etc., the role of sugary drinks and fizzy drinks and all that stuff, So being physically active, bringing kids together, training together, social interaction is super important. And if I may build the bridge now to the academy, obviously from an educational point of view, we are having in design the course in production, HYROX Youngstars, for not only for gym coaches, but also for PE teachers, for sport trainers out there in clubs, etc., how to train in the best possible way kids of this particular age group, and preparing them for HYROX in particular, but just providing physical training, fun, based on fun, engaging social bonding, gathering activities for kids in this group. Yeah.
And is the format, you're saying it's not the same as the adults format. What is the format for a Youngstars HYROX? And if I've got a daughter, how do I get her involved? How would I get a child involved, say 15-year-olds? I'm the parent. What do I say to them? Do I say, is it at my local gym? Is it a specific event at a specific time? Where do I find HYROX Youngstars?
Yeah, we're in the process now to create a system where kids can train. And what I just mentioned in terms of safeguarding and child protection, which is important for the event itself, is obviously also important in a gym environment. It's also important for clubs, etc., etc. Yeah. So we're at the moment creating a system. We're creating a course where coaches can sign up for, and gyms, if they're interested, to offer, let's say, HYROX Youngsters in group setup, and group classes, then they obviously can apply. They can affiliate with us. They get the coach education and all that together. So for the first event, Piers Plowman, I was mentioning before, he did a fantastic job. He wrote a 3-month program, a weekly program that was going out not specifically to coaches, but to parents and the kids themselves, or the youth athletes, so that they can prepare. Because for HYROX Youngsters, it would be advantageous to train in a gym, with the ergs, ski erg, rowing, etc. But you can also prepare yourself outside in the park. You do the park run, you do the burpees, you do the air squats, or weighted squats with a wall ball, with a medicine ball, etc. So the idea is not that you necessarily have to go to the gym. Same, by the way, applies for a HYROX as well, right? So this would be the approach, and it was fantastic to see in Amsterdam. that from the boys, when they entered the race, probably the majority of the guys, their background was football, maybe rugby. Okay, so they were somewhere already sporting active. But from the girls' side, there were a lot of girls. They prepared themselves for this particular race. And we did a couple of interviews with the parents after that, and a lot of the girls said, "Yeah, this is a sport for me. I'm training now for the next HYROX. I prepare myself, in a structured."
I think that's pretty indicative of gender sort of difference, isn't it? I think the practicalities. It's like, well, a guy will come in necessarily and say, "Oh, I do a bit of this. I'll be fine. I don't need to train specifically." But I think that practical aspect of like, well, this is what I'm going to be doing on the day. I better train specifically for it. Really interesting.
And we had a wide range of fitness levels there as well. So it was not that the super fit kids come in there. No, and they enjoyed it. And the same. Let me put it this way: the same philosophy applied to the youngsters, athletes, like for the adults. Everybody's a hero. It's a sport for everybody, sure. And everybody was cheering at the wall balls and, for the running and being supportive. And it was really nice to see.
Yeah. So John, just before we, you managed to
got a cup of tea,
go and get, I was talking about your first experience of HYROX and how you were inspired to start getting fit again. You just want to allude to that?
Definitely. Yeah. I used to be a professional sports person when in my younger days as well, but in the last 10 years, I've completely fallen out of sport and going to the gym, probably because I haven't had that game on the weekend to go and train or something to train for. But yeah, turning up to the event, the really good vibe, good people, everyone seemed to be cheering each other on. I thought, yeah, this is a really good atmosphere here. This is just all people just working hard, climbing their own mountain in a way, with all different, like you said, it's all different types of people were there, wasn't it? There's people in the wheelchairs, there was older people, younger people, everyone just really getting on with it. And I suppose on the day you couldn't see who was like winning or losing, so it's more of competing against yourself, isn't it? Which I quite
taking part,
I quite like there. So yeah, I thought it's definitely inspired me. I've joined the gym, I've been trying to practice, and it's there's things that it's like when you watch the Olympics on TV, you think, oh, that's quite easy, I could do that. And then as soon as I got that ball and started throwing it up against the wall, I thought, oh my god, this is really hard.
Yeah.
This is really hard. What time did you get then, Ralf, on your HYROX run? What sort of timings are you doing?
Yeah, must I start with my doubles time? It's 1:14. 1:14 in the open category and 1:27, I think, in the singles is my best. So, but never mind. As I said before, for me, it doesn't count anymore. It's just the pure enjoyment, and probably in the future it will be more doubles anyways. What I can, and I see obviously in Instagram and all the social media, a lot of the comments are saying, yeah, HYROX is also a mental game, when you're doing especially the solo, and I can fully support this statement. It is really thinking, oh my god, you've got this workout now and this workout, so it is of course a mental part as well as a physical part, but again, it's this double mentality, and I know there are hundreds if not thousands double teams out there. The guys are training together, and could be mixed doubles or amongst doubles men or doubles women. So they're training together, they're racing together, they travel together, and this is a completely new form of sport, and this is what we want to be.
Yeah, definitely a community, isn't it? We really got that kind of community spirit. So we're probably going to address the elephant in the room here, Ralf, about the phenomena. I guess HYROX is a phenomena, but also with guys not wearing their shirts. Clearly, we can't have a conversation about HYROX without talking about that.
We was going to come on topless today, Ralf.
We discussed it, but then decided against it. And also the ladies dressing identically doing doubles and things like that, which again, my first experience was at London as well of a HYROX. And I mean, it was astonishing. But it's a whole tribal cultural thing going on, isn't it? That clearly people are identifying with a particular sport, that, you know, you've now got a subculture going on around HYROX, that people sort of love HYROX or they're into something else or whatever. But yeah, I mean, just as a kind of a tongue in cheek, what's your take in the whole taking the t-shirt off, and that's that kind of phenomena, just to put you on the spot?
Well,
Ralph loves it.
Fact number one is, fact number one is it's becoming really warm when you're working out, right? So,
true. Very diplomatic.
It's indoor, most of the events, apart from a few happening outdoors now. Okay, then and this is really also fact. There have been a couple of sports science researchers out there. Obviously, the body is heating up when you are wearing clothes, and that is influencing the performance of your body. Yeah, so there is a kind of could be a rationale behind of, taking the shirt off. Fair enough. Okay. Yes. It is. Yeah, as you mentioned, it is maybe a form of culture. Yes, showing, you've trained and you show your body. Fair enough. But at the same time, there are probably also hundreds of thousands who are, for all ages,
fully
clothed. But this is the thing, that's the stuff that sticks in the memory from social media, isn't it? But like,
exactly.
It is, 100%.
So
I like that answer. I do like that answer. Very
certainly, and it's something from us, from HYROX. It's nothing we can or we want to interfere.
No.
No.
100%.
I'm
definitely getting my top off at the next one. Definitely.
So it's like everybody wishes to do. So be it. But it's a certain culture, and I know there are certain gyms and certain athletes, they never take their shirt off. They just race and so. Well
done, sir. Well done. You answered that beautifully.
Thank you.
So in terms of just quickly the format of HYROX, so we've got obviously a kilometer run.
Yep.
And then the next station is ski erg.
Yep.
And then another kilometer run. You take it from there.
And I take it from there.
You take it from there.
It's like a test.
And PTSD that you have from the last one that you did, but no. So you've got a kilometer run, you've got the ski erg, you've got another. So basically you're running a kilometer in between each station, aren't you? So just very briefly, for people that may be watching that don't know anything about HYROX, just the format in a nutshell.
Yeah, the format in a nutshell: 8 kilometers run interrupted by 8 workouts, and as you rightly said, it's we start with a ski erg, another kilometer run, and then it's sled push, sled pull, it's the burpee broad jump, it's the rowing, the row erg, then it's the kettlebell, and then finally it's the lunges, and then after the lunges, the wobbles. So if your legs are really nice and tired after the lunges, you are invited to have another 1,000-meter run, and then finally you mess it all up with 100 wobbles, right? Which is probably the biggest challenge. But after that, then you're done. So most of the people, and we had these discussions obviously in the beginning of HYROX in the early years, everybody was saying, oh yeah, this is a copy of CrossFit and of other formats. No, it's not. Yes, HYROX is very much endurance based sport. So obviously you have to run, you have to have your aerobic capacity. Running on compromised legs, at least after the ski erg, you feel that already a little bit, but definitely after the sled push. Okay, so if you want to go for performance, you better want to have a good strategy, not to overpace already at the ski erg and definitely not at the sled push and sled pull, right? So really scale it down. And sharing from my personal experience, I was tapping into this trap, of course, giving all in and pushing hard, and killing myself. I approached it a little bit faster, and I can share that I've been running 10 minutes faster, and not because I was super fit, but smarter rather than pushing harder. So anyways, yes, it's this format. So a lot of people are saying, okay, this is not really hard, or it's more endurance based. Yes, it is endurance based, because the idea of the format is to have the most healthiest, or one of the healthiest sports there are. Healthy in terms of also catering for longevity, having the strength there, the strength elements in terms of lunges, in terms of kettlebell walks, in terms of sleds, even wall balls, etc. So all these workouts in between, and the basis of everything is the cardiovascular strength. So if people are preparing for their first HYROX, I would always give the recommendation: start to do some running first. Don't start with 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 kilometers. Go in smaller snippets, then develop your fitness nice and easy. Maybe integrate a couple of burpee broad jumps, 10 at a time. Then you start running again, slowly but surely. Obviously, it all depends on your fitness level when you're starting with. Maybe to John, when you restart now for training for your first HYROX. Is it John?
Say that again.
Your first HYROX then?
I've never done it, so this will be my first HYROX coming up. So
we're going to do
it. We're going to do New Year resolutions back then, 6 weeks ago, and 100%. I see you where in London, end of March.
Do you think that's too early for me? I've only just started training.
I don't want to put any pressure.
We're going to do a doubles, aren't we,
I think
John?
we'll do a doubles first.
Good decision.
But I need a goal. I need something to aim for, and this is definitely it's got me going.
So I like, Ralf, that HYROX are considering all elements. I mean, you were saying about this as a kind of a complete kind of fitness protocol, that it's not just about strength training, it's not just about cardio. But I like now that with the introduction of HYROX ramp, that you've now got the warm-up, so a specific warm-up to do before you race, or when you train. You've got the race itself, and then you've got recovery areas as well. So all of those areas now that we all know are important but aren't necessarily catered for, that's really been a focus, which I really like, because it's not just about the main event, that it's like, come and race and then just go. We're taking care of you beforehand, we're taking care of you during, we're taking care of you afterwards, which I see as kind of corporate responsibility really for your athletes, that it's not just about the race and getting it done. It's actually that we want you to be in exactly the right frame of mind, physically and mentally, before you race, which is really, really important. And then during the race, we want you to end up coming off it having enjoyed it and not being injured. Yes. And then taking time afterwards to get adequate recovery. So, I like that there's facility for that. And I'd seen all the areas. And as I said, now with the ramp protocol, the raise, the activation, mobilization, potentiate that's being incorporated is very much now aligned with that, which is great. Okay, so let's move on. I think because time is getting on to really the kind of the main part of this conversation, which is the HYROX Coaches Summit. So clearly, this is now about, I think there's 25 plus speakers that are going to be there. Lots and lots of sessions that are going on. So for HYROX coaches to come along, for other coaches, is that correct? You don't have to be a HYROX coach. You can be
absolutely
any coach coming along. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Every coach is welcome. I mean, we just recently announced a partnership with the NSCA, the National Strength and Conditioning Association, globally. So all their coaches are obviously invited, but all the other coaches, Reps Ireland is a partner, SimSpa, but every coach. We've been reaching out to triathlon, to football, to any other sport, athletics, because I think we have a really good profile of speakers. And yeah, the HYROX, the Coaches Summit is kind of it's the end of I wouldn't say the end, but the top of the coaching coach education journey. Maybe we also have to go back a little bit. When we started with the HYROX Academy, the idea was to have a global coaching system in place and a coach education system in place. And you just mentioned it's not only about the race, it's about preparing for the race, it's about recovery, etc. So the idea of the HYROX Academy in the first place was we wanted to equip coaches globally with the knowledge and expertise how to safely train participants for the race, right? So that people can confidently say, I've been coached by, let's say, a level 1 performance coach, HYROX, or level 2 performance coach. They know what they're doing. They know the race. They know the best ways of training for a HYROX, so that I'm best prepared. I'm not getting injured. I will recover fantastically after a race, and people are motivated to come back and to say, next race, I'm going to chop another 3 minutes from my PB, something like this, right?
Yeah.
And this is our responsibility in the academy, to provide this kind of coach education. And the way we do it is that we obviously have a huge network of sports scientists, performance coaches, experts that are contributing to our online courses. HYROX is a global fitness race series, global phenomenon. So we need to scale globally. So the first step for us was saying, okay, we have these online courses that we have curated, but coach education, in my opinion, always happens face to face. So when coaches are coming together, when people are coming together, they speak with each other. There's this peer learning, and obviously you see experts right in front of you, and you've got the opportunity in workshops, to ask questions, to interact, and this is what I learned from my 30 years being a coach myself. When I went to conferences, it's always about kind of inspiration, motivation, and a little bit of innovation, how you get new ideas. And this is the way these coaches coaching and methodologies, so you get back, you're kind of inspired, and you bring this new knowledge and these ideas into your own training. Yeah. And this is what we want to provide with a Coaches Summit, and to bring the coaches community together. And I'm really looking forward to meet all the coaches in Twickenham end of March.
That's exciting, isn't it? Because James and I are both from personal training backgrounds, so I can imagine with my previous clients, sometimes it's good to. Normally, it was like a half marathon, okay, but something where they can be motivated to kick on. So I think this is great.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. As I said, we've got, or James just mentioned it, we've got 25 speakers from all over the world, from South Africa, from Australia, from New Zealand, from Europe, of course, from Scandinavia. We've got Frederick Zilland there, just a little bit of name dropping here. It's Martin Boucher from France. And it's really, creating this atmosphere, this inspiring atmosphere. Because what we also must not forget is we are about to create a sport, or we have created a sport, and giving also coaches the opportunity to create their own pathways in this kind of sport. There will be coaches out there, as you mentioned, John. It's maybe more a PT, and it might be a PT who's coaching particular population, let's say masters athletes, right? So we have lessons there and lectures there, how to coach the masters athlete, on a one-on-one. But we also have a coaching session group X, so how to lead a session with, let's say, 25, 35 athletes on the gym floor, having a group session in HYROX, completely different beast. And we have sessions coaching the female athlete. Yeah. Now we have a youngsters. Yeah, James, you mentioned the youngsters. So Piers Plowman will cover the youngsters, for example. So yeah, every coach in the future in HYROX will probably have a certain pathway and where he or she is working with a special group of athletes and participants in HYROX, and this is what we really want to cater for.
Yeah. And you mentioned Ralf Wentz earlier, having introduced you to HYROX to begin with. And so Ralf will be one of the speakers as well. And I'm working with Ralf in the UK with Stick Sits. And again, we sort of come down to the warm-up element, the functional aspect, rotational movement, which is incredibly important. You might think that HYROX is very sort of 1 or 2 dimensional, but clearly we move in 3 dimensions.
Absolutely.
So very, very important to warm up in all of those 3 dimensions. So, it's these kind of elements as well that potentially people, and like John was saying, from a personal training perspective or just a general coaching perspective, may not have come across these types of protocols. I know I wasn't when I trained, and I don't think John was trained in working functionally in all 3 dimensions, all those planes of movement. It was very much, sagittal, very little, frontal plane on occasion, but transverse hardly ever. So I think, again, it's kind of groundbreaking stuff that as part of HYROX, that they're looking at the bigger picture, that it's not just about the race. It's about, sharing all of this learning with the world. It's a global sharing platform.
Yes.
From my perspective. So it's, and I think it feels quite philanthropic. And clearly, HYROX, the brand, is huge now. But it's the sharing of that information that's come out of this that I think is going to benefit immensely.
Absolutely, James, and it's good that you bring this up. And Ralf, we're really looking forward to catch up again in London. We'll be part of the team that is presenting about ramp, about stick sets, rotational movements, and this his innovative approach to training. And you're absolutely right. And we must not forget, most of the sports are not just going in these 2 dimensions, right? So there's a lot of rotation, and even in the running, it's not, we're not running like robots. So he's got a very, very innovative approach. And talking about innovation, this is why we also have within the Coaches Summit, we have this innovation hub where we have partners who are presenting the latest technology and how to, not maybe only the latest technology, but how to apply it to training, and to training for specific population target groups within, HYROX, which I just mentioned, being it youngsters or being it the masters athlete, female athlete, adaptive athlete. We have groups there as well, So this is our aim. And talking about innovation, research, if I may just want to add, is, you're probably aware that we launched in December the Sports Science Advisory Council from HYROX. So I'm really, really honored to work with a number of really very well-known sports scientists from all around the world together. And we're kind of collecting research results with regards to HYROX, not necessarily to how to run faster, but also in terms of longevity, in terms of nutrition, healthy lifestyle, and so on and so forth. Again, the populations, being it youngsters, being it female athletes, etc., etc. So all this research that we put in there, and together with the colleagues from the Sports Science Advisory Council and the experts, then is fed into the coach education and into the academy again. So the vision is of the academy to build this educational unit like in one of the major sports, being it triathlon or athletics, or some of the team sports around the world in Olympic sports, so that we really can educate our coaches based on the latest research results which are out there to train effectively for HYROX.
Yeah,
nice. And how many countries is it in now, Ralf? How many countries are you? It's quite a few, isn't it?
It's 40 plus at the moment. Yeah, currently 40 plus.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
proud to say on every continent, on every continent, and with events. And I think from an academy point of view, we have about in the 90s, 92, 93 countries represented.
Wow.
25,000 coaches certified, 3,000 coaches level 1, and we're moving on with more and more coaches. So that's really, really, really exciting.
And have you noticed some cultural differences in the way some countries approach HYROX? Is there some interesting differences between, say, the English, South American, Germans?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. When you're racing, I have to admit, I haven't been at all the events around the world.
Sure.
So this is probably more in Christian, all the events. But no, I mean, certainly different cultures, different countries have different cultures, also fitness cultures. Yeah. They approach it differently. And for some countries, fitness racing, and to be exposed in such an event where you really struggle at some workouts in public, it's something new, isn't it?
Of course.
But I think we're doing really, really well. And in terms of coach education, I'm always saying we have to have a global approach with local, with also a local or regional approach as well. Yeah.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
So we've got the summit coming up. When is that, Ralf? When's the next one coming up? It's in London, isn't it?
In Twickenham is coming on 27th, 28th of March. It's a 2-day event in Twickenham. 25 plus speakers from various countries. We have the innovation hub there, where coaches come together and can experience some of the latest technology which is out there in terms of training, assessing training, doing tests during training, and so on and so forth. So that would be a fantastic opportunity. And with the 2-day ticket comes the opportunity to still purchase, I think till Friday, that is, to purchase a ticket for a race on the Thursday. Any coach who would like to come, race on Thursday and join us Friday, Saturday at the Coaches Summit in Twickenham. It will be amazing.
And where did they go, Ralf? Did they go to, is it hyrox.com?
Basically, yes. It's HYROX. You can go to hyrox365.com, and from there you go immediately to the HYROX Summit. Correct.
Okay, and Steve said level 1 course was great. Looking forward to the level 2 being released. Is there a date set yet?
Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks for the feedback. Yes, the level 2 is almost in the books, so to speak. I would say 95%. We will release level 2 in Q2, just after the summit. Yes, and it will be a great course. We dive deeper into the certain topics that we already have been covering in level 1. And if I do a little bit of a spoiler, we will have the personalized coaching, female athlete, adaptive athlete, master athlete, etc. We will have sports medicine there in addition to the level 1. Yeah, so we'll be very, very comprehensive.
Okay, so just to finish then, Ralf, if I was a coach sitting on the fence making a decision about coming along to the summit, what would you say in one sentence that would convince me that this is the right thing for me to do?
I think it's the best opportunity to join the coaches community, the HYROX coaches community, meeting people in person, make new contacts, make new friends, and experience the 25 speakers. HYROX is a new sport. We're developing a new sport. Be part of the new sport as one of the leading coaches in this environment.
Okay, we just got a last minute question here from Roland Furtado. A small question from Roland. If someone looks back at 2026 and 2030, what would make them say that was the turning point for HYROX coaching?
From the perspective, looking back from 2030, 2026, okay. I would say 2026, obviously this is the first HYROX Coaches Summit where we bring in the global community. And this is, I think, again, it's a turning point. We started only 18 months ago with the level 1 online coaching course, which was a great success, and people really liked it. And this is the first in-person event, and I think from here the journey will continue with in-person events as well.
Great.
Fabulous.
Perfect. No, I really appreciate you coming on, Ralf. It's I'm very new to the HYROX game. I'm looking forward to the first one. When's the next one after March in England? Is there one in London later on in this year? I'll have to check the website.
Yeah, you'll have to check the website. I can tell you where we are the next, and it's probably Cologne, then it's Berlin. There's a lot of other events.
Okay.
We've got Cardiff, haven't we? And Birmingham, Manchester.
Is there? Yeah, we have to sign up, James. I need 4 months, I reckon, training. I'm in it to win it, Ralf.
You've gone in full bore, mate, straight from the beginning. I think it was like he didn't break himself in gently, Ralf. He sent me loads of photographs. Like, this is how many wall balls I've done. I've gone and done a kilometer running. Yeah, instantly straight into 1,000 meters.
For the 34 kettlebells, 34 kg each. I'm like, oh my god, these are like.
From zero to hero.
Really tough. Really tough. But no, it's all good fun. No, I appreciate that, Ralf.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, if anyone wants to get involved, go to hyrox.com.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks for the invite, and looking forward to seeing you at Twickenham.
Perfect.
I'll be there.
All right, then.
Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers, Steve. Cheers, Roland. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.